What's up, everybody? We're going to go through and install. I don't know how long it'll take because I'm going to explain everything as I go. So I've had a few people lately reach out to me and ask me if I'd be willing to spend some time with them on a video call and teach them how to install. Yo, what's up, man? Who is Chris? um, it's been a lot lately, actually. I think like three people in the last 2 weeks have asked me, and I keep on having to say I just can't because I just don't have the time, and I feel really bad because I do want to help people however I can try to get into this hobby and do this stuff. So when I was asked today, yo, what's up, Alejandro? I didn't tell him no. I just said, hey, let me think about how I can do this. So I thought about it and I said, okay, let me do a live stream like this because I have this saver to install anyway, and then I'll walk through everything like it was somebody's first time, so I could teach you, what I'm doing and how I do it, and then the guys that know how to do it, you guys can just like pick my technique apart. um, I got my phone set up too because Albert showed me how to do that. So let me bring that up real quick. And it's not a very big screen, at least not from here. So hopefully it looks better for you guys. Let me see if I can swap that. Maybe that's better. So try to adjust this a little bit. This is about the best I can do. Um, Sorry in advance. So we're gonna install this Scrapflex. So this is a pretty basic install by itself. There's a few extra bells and whistles I'm gonna put in the chassis, but you don't have to do that. Yo, thanks guys. Hey, what's up, Warren? Um, yeah, there's a few extra things in the chassis that I'm gonna put in that you don't have to put in. So you can just ignore that part if you want to. It's not too bad. This is the chassis that I've got designed for it. Right here. So this does take a 10 pixel accent strip right here. It takes an OLED screen right here, removable battery, 28 millimeter speaker. Yo, what's up, John? Hey, Jim. Thanks for tuning in, fellas. I'm going to try to keep my eye on the comments and to do this too. So bear with me. So yeah, it's got a few extra things in it. No big deal. One thing that's a little unorthodox about this setup too is I'm going to do an external kill switch, and that's something I learned from Benji. So I've already put my kill switch inside of my holder. Whoops, there we go. Yo, what's up, Gylo? So this is going to go in this notch, in this 2.0 notch right here. This particular Scrapflex, I wanted to baseball wrap. You can see the baseball wrap right there. I'm always doing a wrap around. Most of the time you see a leather wrap, it's a wrap around. So I just wanted to do a little something different on this guy and do a baseball stitch. So that's what we've got there. All right. But typically on these 2.0 kits, which is what this is, um, this choker, you get this notch right here. If you could see it, and that's where I'm going to try to slide. I'm going to slide this in, glue it in, so that I can access that kill switch from the outside of this Scrapflex. Oh, you're very welcome, Gemma. I'm glad you like it, man, and that it arrives safely. So that's the unorthodox part of this build that you also don't really have to pay attention to. It'd be the same thing as if it was in your chassis. So first thing, I got all my pieces here. We'll go over wiring up the kill switch, speaker, two switches, and I've got this. This is probably the first thing that I ever modeled up when I started to learn Fusion 360. It's an older thing. It just holds two tactile switches. I built it up with some double-sided tape here because I didn't want to just go in and model a thicker one. But it holds two tactile switches, and then it sits in there underneath the clamp card. and then you can actuate them, when the clamp card's in. So that's what I'm going to be doing there. I know it looks a little weird, but sometimes it's what we got to do. So there's that. There's my two tactile switches right there, if you can see that. I'm going to use this PCB from Shadowfoil Props. One, because I like them, and two, because they don't have any pins in them, so we'll go over soldering up the pins too. We got one or two sabers from you. Excited to see behind the scenes. Oh, thanks, man. What's your name? Sand Sabers. So yeah, we're gonna do everything. So even solder the pins into this PCB. This is a 7/8 inch blade or 7/8 inch PCB holder. So we'll be using that. Battery tabs. This is the 10 pixel accent strip. It's just blade material. Yeah, exactly, Albert. I'll peel that off when I get ready to put it in, and it'll stick right in place. So we should be good there. It's an OLED screen. I got this particular OLED screen on Amazon. They have good OLED screens, and then a 2.2. Still a great board. So we're gonna break this saber down, right? Because I got to get to the core. I had a few things put in. Yo, what's up, Jeremy? It's always weird saying my own name. I got a few things holding this together, but not much. Take that off. I'll take this off over here. Oh, we can take this clamp piece off. See, I drilled a hole for my switches here. Drilled another hole right here for a screw to hold this on. I'll take this off, unscrew this guy. We've already learned something minutes into the build. That's what's up. So, I forget the name of the guy who asked me today if I would do this. But if you're tuning in, you got a question, don't hesitate to ask. We got to take this beer tab off too. All right. I'll take that off real quick. Did a little heat stain on this just to make it a little dirty. Nothing too crazy. Looks cool though. All these pieces over here. Slide this off. Earlier today, you can see the hole I drilled for my switches. Hopefully you can see that there. And then over here, I drilled and tapped a hole for my NeoPixel connector. That would have been me that asked that. Oh. That's right. So if you got any questions, let me know. We're going to try to walk through every piece of this. But I drilled and tapped a hole to hold my NeoPixel connector. How many of these do I do a day? Well, one or two, typically, right? I think I've done 7, I think is my record, but I don't want to do that anymore. That was pretty tiring. What up, Sir PB? So I got my pins here. I think I have a link to where I get these pins on my website. If I don't, let me know. But these are the expensive ones. They cost like just over $1 a piece. So we're going to go over soldering these up. If you're only going to do a saber or two every once in a while, it's probably a good idea to buy these already, the pins already soldered. But if you do them all the time like me, it's a little bit cheaper for me to do it this way. Although these are over $1 a piece, the more you buy, the cheaper they get. So you know they're cheaper in bulk, and I usually buy about 500 of them at a time. So it drops the price down to less than $1 a piece. All right, so we got that. These helpful things. If you're going to use these, make sure they got some, you can see that rubber on there, hopefully. You can see that. If not, I got one right here. It's got that little rubber piece so they don't damage your PCBs, right? Is Albert going at it already? So just put your tip of your soldering iron on one of those pins, get it hot, and then bring your solder in. Boom. That one's done. And just work your way around the board. If you're doing too many at one time, stop and go to the other side of the PCB so that one area of the PCB doesn't get super hot and you don't damage your LEDs on the other side. Just like that, get your pads for your positive, your negative, and your data. Good. We'll go ahead and wire this up while we're at it. All right. I'm going to go wipe this off real quick because there's some stuff I missed from drilling and I don't want that in my install now. I think you can see that. So I'm going to wipe that off real quick. All right. Can't see my wire over here, but I've got a rack of wire. If you're not used to doing this, you should probably write down every color that you use and what it's for. I've done this so many times that I don't need to, but it's a good idea if you're just starting out to write it down. Using some flux, right? Dip your wire in there, tin it. Just like that. My positive and my negative wires coming off my PCB are 22 gauge. My data line is 28 gauge. It's a very long. My switches will also be 28 gauge. One more. Where was it at? Right here. All right. Do the magic twist. Get these all nice and neat. Yes, somebody asked me about long pins today. I have never used them. I mean, I've never used them willingly. I've never ran into a saber or situation where I needed to use them unless I was using somebody else's chassis that was designed for them. But I don't care for them. Short pins every time for me. So we'll get that all twisted up. We're gonna glue it in our NeoPixel holder. And again, if this is something you haven't done before or you're new to it, don't use the CA glue that I'm using because if you make a mistake, it's not coming off. right? Use maybe some E6000. But I like CA glue because it will cure in about 5 seconds and I can move on my life. So we're going to set that off to the side. Actually, you know what we're going to do? We're just go ahead and put it in here. So I drilled these holes for 832 rub screws. Long pins are prone to breaking. They're more meant for diffusion caps that go over the pixel connectors. Yeah, those are kind of confusing to me too. Like, why would you want LEDs on your PCB and then you want a diffuser over them to muffle it out? So I don't, you know, it just becomes a personal preference at that point. So we're gonna put this in here. Slide that down to that hole I drilled. I gotta see this up close to my face. Sorry, guys. Right there. Lock it in with a grub screw. Yeah. You got it, Space. There we go. I tightened that grub screw, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see in there. See if I can get it to the camera. It's hard for you to see. It's just dark in there. But what I can see is that, like, when I tighten that grub screw, it's pushing my NeoPixel holder all the way to one side, and it's throwing it off center, right? So I don't want that. You always have a screw on the PCB holder. It just depends on the saber. This one I put my own because Scrapflex, you kind of do a lot of stuff on your own. But so this fits in there nice. But when I press that grub screw up against it, it's kind of like pushing it off to one side in the blade holder, and it's weird. Throw your pins off center. So I'm just going to take some of this art tape and just put one revolution on it. How quickly do you typically do an entire install after becoming so proficient at it? Oh man. Um, Trying to think. It depends on the saber, really. If I've got everything in front of me, just like how we started this video, and I'm just install it and I don't talk my way through it, I get it done in maybe about 45 minutes. Thank you for watching the comments, Albert. So now I'm looking in there, and I know you're still not going to be able to see it, but it's not pushing it off to the side. It's locked in. Testing with my finger, it's not going anywhere. So that's pretty much good to go, right? So we're good there. Take that little bit of extra time to build that holder up, because if those pins are off center and you put your blade in it and fire it up, it's going to fry everything. So we got that in. That's the only thing that we needed the shell off for, so that I could get to that grub screw. We'll go ahead and we'll put this back together real quick. And we will wire up the switches while we're on this piece. This is our blade retention, because it does stick into the socket. Everything is opposite when I'm trying to show you guys, so it's really hard to show it on the camera, but that sticks into the blade socket because I wanted that for blade retention. No tool. So we'll just put this together real quick. It doesn't take long. right, screw that in there. Swing it around. This can be kind of weird sometimes. If you don't get this exactly straight, it won't screw in. These are a huge pain. That's good for now. And we'll put this beer tab back in. Currently, time is around a week. Give or take. I've been getting them out pretty quick. I don't ever give anybody a lead time. I don't ever say less than a week because I just don't want to be in that type of a situation where somebody is expecting something out of me in less than a week. If I give it to you then in less than a week, then I want it to be a surprise. I had 2 sabers come in this week that came in one day and went out the next day. So we'll get this lined up where that hole's at, and we'll put this in there. But about a week. Months. No, when I get like when my lead times are legitimately past 3 weeks, then I stop taking them until I catch up. I don't think anyone's ever waited more than 3 weeks for me. I'll just shut it down until I get done what's on my plate, and then I can open it back up. I think I got the wrong. This is the wrong Allen key. Let's try these. Yo, what's up, Kevin? Yeah, I don't believe in taking months. Can't do it. I'm gonna tighten this up just a hair. That'll work. That'll work. We'll lock that in for now. I'll put the gold pins in later. You guys don't need to see me do that. That's pretty easy. But we'll go ahead and we'll do the switches, right? Let me get my wire length. Two of these. What do you think is the longest you've spent on one of your personal sabers? Months. I've taken months to build a personal saber just because I feel bad working on them when I have commissions. Yeah, absolutely, man. There's a lot of installers out there that are amazing installers. Absolutely. So my switches are going to be 32 gauge. They can be as small as you like. All right. straighten out these prongs. Let me know if something doesn't make sense to you. Tin these prongs. Dip it in some flux. In the wire. Yep, these are switch lines. I'll show it to you up close when I get done wiring it. .32 gauge. We're not going to twist that up yet. All right, I'm not going to put a shrink tube on this, although normally you would want to, but they're going to be insulated in this holder that I made. The shrink tube adds a bit of diameter to these switches that I really can't afford to have in my switch holder because they won't fit. So this time around, we're not going to use it. Yeah, they're skinny. I've seen smaller ones. That's what she said. All right. Get this out of the way. Get my switch holder over here. Feed it in like this. Normally your switches, right, would probably be on your saver, so you wouldn't have to do all this, but you're going to have to wire them up in some form or fashion. Would you normally use shrink tube? Yes, I would. If the joint's going to be exposed, then yeah, I would. But this is the reason why I didn't use it here. It's completely covered by this switch holder, right? You can't even see where I soldered them, so there's really no point in me using it, and then it would be too big to fit in my holder. So we're going to feed these switches in. That's why it's good to twist your wires. And just give these a quick twist so they're easy to manage. It's hard to do this with a phone in my face. It's all right. We'll get through it. All right. I'll shove those in there. Open this up. Take one of this adhesive backing off. Those are my switches for now. See if it works with this clamp. Yo, what's up, Cheetos? Sometimes you gotta give these a little bit of love. We'll come back and fiddle with this later. Power's working fine. I just need to adjust my auxiliary. And it's easy enough to do. We'll do that later. All right. Any specific reasons you choose the wire types you do? Also, if you feel one of my questions, no, that's fine, man. If I see it, I'll answer. I'm happy to answer. That's why I'm doing this. I use 32 gauge because it's easy to uh, get that cramp foo in. All right. Smaller the wire, the easier it is to shove a bunch of wires through whatever kind of wire path you've got. And it becomes really important when you're doing master chassis. And then when you do those, you just kind of get in the habit of using the smallest wire that you can. It's good to get in the habit now of working with it. So that way, when you need it, it's not, foreign to you. What I'm doing right now is I'm joining the uh, common wire for the two switches. I'm going to join them into one wire now so I don't have to mess with it when I put the chassis in. It's already done for me. Twisting those up a little bit. Send them up so they stay. This is where you need shrink tube right here. All right, small piece right over that joint. Now you can use a tip of your soldering iron as long as you make sure the solder is off of it. You can use a lighter. I'll just go over it real easy like that. Kind of mold it with my fingers. I didn't get it over the joint, so I'll do it again. All right. So, yo, what's up, Jay? The entire top of this saber is built up. In fact, I'm gonna mess with that auxiliary switch now because it's bugging me that I just left it. But I know what's going on with it. Get that out of the way. Slide this back a little bit. There goes that piece of foam. still wanting to give me some grief. There it is. All right. So I feel that auxiliary button's good, power is good, our NeoPixel connector is in here, all of our wires are sticking out here. We're going to set this off to the side, work on the chassis. Typically, I would build the chassis first. What brand to shrink tube? I don't know, man. Whatever they got on Amazon. So I don't like the color stuff though. I get all the stuff that's all black. Yo, what's up, Atreyu? So we're gonna break these tabs off these. We're gonna just break these tabs off these battery tabs. I don't use them. Yeah, that sounds about right. $15 for the kit. This is the chassis. So what are we gonna do here? Start building this up. Here's that new speaker wire. I'll do those first. I'm gonna wire up all these components before I put anything in the chassis. Patient with that, let it cool down. 32 gauge for the speaker as well, or 28. Now, whichever you want to do. It doesn't have to be a big gauge. It can be the same as your switches. That's the same size also that I'm going to use for the OLED screen. And also this 10 pixel accent strip that I'm putting in the chassis. They're all going to be small gauge wire. Oh, I'm glad you like it, Jason. Thank you. That was a fun one to do. So whenever you can, just twist up your stuff so you got some good wire management. You know, makes it easy to tell what's what. What size you use for the LED accents? The same small one. If it's just a 10 pixel strip like this, I'm going to use 28 gauge, or 30, 32, something small. What are we doing next? Let's wire up this this strip. I save my scraps sometimes, like if they're this long, because I use PTFE wire. I won't throw them away. I got this little pile of them over here because I try to use them. This is kind of actually a perfect size for what I'm trying to do. Maybe a little long, but not too much. Grab this too. OLED screen, not too hard, just 4 wires. This guy though, I don't want to solder to the front of it because you'll see it through my chassis. So I'm gonna solder back here. I just need to cut a piece of this adhesive off. We'll just expose these right here. Can you guys see that? Hopefully you can see that, right? Cut some of that adhesive off so I could solder those pads in the back and you wouldn't see anything in the front. What's up, Chris? Bring these in and tin them. Now see, you can't see really that I soldered to that. So twist this up. Set this off to the side. Let's do our OLED screen. So we know for our OLED screen, we're going to need white, red, green, and purple. And purple. All right. Right on, man. What saber is it, Chris? All right. Now, I will solder to the front of this OLED screen because you can't see these pads from the outside of the chassis, but that's how I modeled it. We'll just tin these up real quick. I have 3D printers going in the background. Sorry, man. Actually, the three smaller ones aren't even going. It's the bigger one, but it's right next to me. I am printing out my Victorian Guard helmet. Let me see if I can show you. Can you guys see that over there? Almost done. So, yeah, sorry about the noise. So that's the OLED screen. We're going to go ahead and take the cover off of it now, but it's all wired up. It's good to go. It's ready. What do we want to do next? Let's go ahead and do this kill switch next, because the kill switch is a little weird on this one because it's not in the chassis like it would normally be. That would make it a lot easier. That's all right. We'll get through it. Probably going to do the Ender series. Yeah, I've got 3 Ender Pros for chassis, and those are absolute workhorses. I love them. This one, though, is for armor and helmets and stuff. A whole helmet only goes up just past the available height. What do I want to use? I'm going to have to use green. Ender makes some amazing printers. I got no complaints about them. I don't have an Ender 5, but my buddy JR does. He loves it. This kill switch is going to be one of those times where I'm not going to use any shrink tube, but I went through and I cut, it's going to be hard to see maybe, but I cut those prongs super short. I mean, tiny. And I'm going to solder to opposite sides of each one so they're not going to touch. If you leave the prongs long like they come on the kill switch, then you might need to use some shrink tube, but I like to do this way here when I have to save some space. I'll try to show you when I'm done. So this white one is going to go to the battery terminal. And then this green one will go to the board. I don't know if it's going to be easy to see. My phone doesn't want to zoom in on it, but trust me, those prongs are super short. There's no way those things are going to touch each other. So since we've got this already wired up, we'll go ahead and put it in our saber. Where'd it go? There it is. All right. When I saw Benji do an external kill switch, I thought it was so cool. And to be able to turn off your saber and not have to take your handle off is just sweet. So I can't do it all the time, but on stuff like this, it's pretty easy to do. So try to do that. .22 gauge on the kill switch. So anything that goes to the battery, that's going to be 22 gauge. Or anything coming from the battery or needing like lots of juice, like so basically battery terminals and my positive and negative coming off of my NeoPixel connector 22 gauge. Everything else 32, pretty much. Yeah, I cautioned earlier about using CA glue. Like maybe you shouldn't. I do it because I like to just be in a hurry and go. But if you mess up, it will bite you in the ass. So, fair warning. If you're using E6000, you're on the right track. You should probably just keep doing that. So now that's glued in there. I'm going to let it cure. But we've got our external kill switch, right? So we're good to go there. We'll let that. I've got a small fan over here that kind of blows the fumes away from my face. And I'll put that right next to the fan and let that cure a little bit. All right. What's next? We're going to glue this OLED screen in. So if it's upside down, no biggie. You can do a defined OLED flip, three OLED flip 360, 180, something like that. OLED flip 180. There is a defined, I forget what it is offhand, but wouldn't be 360 or just end up back where it was. Must be 180. Get one of these little, push that down there a little bit. And now that I'm looking at it, I think I should have wired that OLED on the back. I'm going to take it out, take the time to redo it. Yeah, I should have done it on the back. It's all right. Won't take but a second to fix it. If you see something wrong while you're building, don't ignore it. Like just fix it. Easier to fix it now than to put this thing together and it doesn't work right. So white, red, green, purple. There, easy enough. Now we'll try that again. Yeah, that fits in there a lot better. So that was good. It was good to go in there and do that real quick. I'm gonna put this up to my face. Sorry. Let's see what I'm doing. All right, so we got OLED in there. Thanks, Albert. Sad Wookiee background. Man, that helmet has been growing for over a day, and probably a day and 15 hours at this point. It's almost done. I hear that in my office so much I don't even recognize it. Like I don't pay attention to it anymore until somebody points it out. Put that. We got that LED strip in there too. Excuse me. It's gonna be hard to see, but it'll light up all these crates, so that's cool. What's the helm? This one's a Praetorian Guard. Taking a break from the Moff Gideon just to do this one real quick because it was cool and I needed a break. Toss just a little bit of this in here. So we're good there. Now we use some E6000. Hey, appreciate that, Ozzy. Not on your level, man, but it will at least fire up when I'm done with it, hopefully. I gotta put this next to my face, guys. Sorry, I gotta see what I'm doing. I just put a little bit of E6000 in there. That is how I like to hold these battery tabs. One, because I make these tabs a pretty nice press fit anyway, so I don't have to sit around and wait for that E6000 to cure. And that's why I don't mind using it here. Throw this out this way. And I remember this wire from my positive battery tab has to go to my kill switch, not the board. So that's why I made it long. So I can bring it out here and away from everything else. No, I had a big bottle once and it was so hard to work with that I'd rather spend a couple dollars extra and just buy the small ones. So let's put this speaker in now. The speaker in this one will be fully enclosed, so it will sound really good. Throw that in now. Let that sit for a second. But you making a Praetorian Guard too, or is it a commission? No, this is for me, but it's just the helmet. Blown away how easy you make it look. I've seen some wire up the board first and run the wires to the individual components. Looks like you're wiring the individual components. Yeah, I like to wire the board last. I know a lot of people, not a lot, a few people. I know a few people who are installers that like to wire up the board first, and that's cool. I've done it on a few sabers that you absolutely have to do it on, but if I can help it, I will not. That's kind of why I mentioned earlier. Let me get this battery tab in real quick and we'll talk about it. Push that in there. That's why I mentioned earlier twisting everything up so you know exactly what it is. Like that's a twist. That's a bundle of 4 wires. I know that's my OLED screen. You know, these two wires are the same. I know that's my speaker. This is a 22 gauge black wire. I know that's my battery. Like this blue and white and purple, I know like that's my 10 pixel strip. It's very easy for me to look at this and know what goes where because I spent the time twisting it up and having some good wire management at the very beginning. I hope that makes sense. It's all good, man. Maybe by the end of this video, you feel like you can give it a shot yourself. The Anti-Flex is a pretty straightforward install, so you shouldn't have too much problem. So you say I got my wires kind of long here because I always kind of do that. Um, Probably take these and cut them down a little bit. Don't need them that long. I'm gonna leave this white one away from the group because that's my battery tab for my kill switch. I'm gonna join that to the white wire I have coming out the front of my chassis right here. But everything else, I try to get it somewhat the same size so it's easy to manage. Bundle it all up in one piece of shrink tube. Now I can push that right through. Oops, my phone's froze. Now I can push that right through. Whoops, right through my chassis at any time, and one lead with all my wires, and it's super manageable. All right, but before we do that, test my kill switch. It's good. Kind of move some wires around a little bit. Just push them off to the side. Push that through. I'm going to join these up real quick. I didn't program my board. I should have. I should have programmed it before this, but I was trying to get my phone to work as a second camera, and that took me a while because the picture was sideways, and I was trying to fix it, and I just forgot. So we can still fire up the Saber, but it's not going to be, in its full glory. Twist these together. Yeah, much respect to Goff, man. He's got some amazing chassis. I don't know how he designs that stuff. My my chassis mentality is as easy as possible and just an easy, nice, clean install. That's what I try for. And use some shrink tube here too. We definitely don't want that touching anything. You're joining the kill switch wire to the positive side of the battery pad. Yes, correct. That's what I'm doing. Yep, absolutely. So now, push this in there, bring my chassis in. I designed this chassis to be a pretty tight press fit in there. I'm still going to go through and put an 832 grub screw right here real quick because I drilled and tapped that for an 832. I just want to make sure. Yeah, we're good. So let's get an 832 grub screw real quick. Have you had any issues installing 3.9? No, it's a great board too. You just got to be careful and mind the wiring diagram for it, because they swapped the power and the auxiliary are now on opposite sides. The data one is has moved back one pad, so you gotta watch out for that kind of stuff, or it will trip you up, and you think you did something wrong, and you did. Tighten that a little bit. That's my chassis retention. That's good. Everything is good there. Now we're going to wire the board. What I like to do, I'll almost always do it this way. I'll wire my negative battery line right here, and I'll come over and I'll wire my two speaker lines, and then I'll jump to the other side of the board, and then I'll work everything on that side of the board, and then I'll get everything else. That's just how I do it. Yo, what's up, Koopa? Good to see you, man. So that's what we're gonna do real quick. And it's hot up here. Okay. Oh yeah, definitely. If you had if you had an unenclosed 24 millimeter, or you could fully enclose a 22, I'd go for that 22 all day. It's a little long. Cut that. Let me get rid of this. Yo, what's up, Easy? I'll just kind of lay the board on there like that. I don't really like putting the board in the clips of the helping hand. I've always just been able to do it like this. Works just fine. I'll get the speakers real quick. In fact, I'm done with that. What's up, Connor? Okay. All right. That's good. We'll leave those bundled up for now, and we'll take care of this 10 pixels accent strip, and we'll wire this OLED and get it out of the way. to save that piece. Okay. There we go. Yeah, wire management is man, it's so important. It's so important because it can make things so stressful if you don't have it kind of nailed down. If you got 20 wires just sticking out here, I mean that sucks. Sounds like a caged Wookiee crying out. Is it really that noisy? Well, let's see here. We're gonna do this OLED screen real quick. Green and red on this side. It's not as noisy as my other ones. All right. Now the other side. The ground wire on the OLED screen goes 5 back from the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Purple one is 2 behind it. And bring this over to the 5-volt pad. It's really not much to talk about. I'm just wiring up the board. So that would just be, if you haven't done it before, just to follow the manual, right? Or I've got this, you can't see it all, but this mat is super helpful. It'll tell you where stuff goes to. You kind of got to have a little bit of know-how for this mat to be helpful. I mean, if you're starting off fresh, the best thing is the manual. don't want to be that guy that says go read the manual, but uh, kind of should. Okay, so I got my speaker wired up, my OLED screen, my 10 pixel strip, my battery terminals, my kill switch. Now we're going to take that heat shrink that we put all those wires in earlier. I'm just going to pull that off and then wire up the rest of this, and this saber should be done. So we'll go and do this. Yeah, for sure, Ozzy. The data pad, and then also your power and aux switches. And if you're wiring up an OLED screen, those pads have moved also. Actually, I like the layout of the new OLED pads on the V3. I forgot about that one. What's it say? Yeah, I put V2s in all my builds. All my personal builds for sure. V2 is fine with me. Where did you get the new pad? This pad that I'm working on? Cody Templeton on Facebook did a run of them. They're sold out now. Usually he'll announce when he's doing a run, and you do a bit of a pre-order on them, and then you get them in about a month. He might do another one though. I'm sure he will. He's done what, 3 already? Did they not fix that on the OS 7.8, Ezzy? Thought I read somewhere about that. Totally be wrong though. It's hard to keep up. Almost, guys. Yeah, absolutely, man. My pleasure to do it. Hopefully, somebody learned something. Doing my data wire right now, my data one wire. Um, I had forgotten all about the positive wire coming from my main NeoPixel connector. Typically, I would, if I have to join any wires, I like to join them around here in front of the chassis, so I'm not doing it uh, up here underneath the board. But because I was talking and lost in the zone, and we were just bullshitting, I just forgot about it. So I'm just gonna join those two wires real quick, and everything should be fine. So these two right here, chop these down. What's the work mat called? It's called Cody's Little Boy Work Mat. I promise you, that's what it's called. There's the little boy work mat, and then there's the big boy. I had the big boy last time, and it was too big. The small one is just fine because I got this underneath this one. I got the sweet Fallen Order work pad. You can kind of see it up here. Fallen Order from Albert and Afrey over at Sabermock went in on it. I've had this one for a long time, and I love it. And then under these two mats, I got another mat you can't see that I use for cutting leather strips and patterns for etching. I don't like to cut on these pads. So I got a lot of mats. You can wire the accent pixels and blade in line. You can. Uh, I don't like to do that because I like my accents to do different things than my blade. But yeah, you can definitely do that. I really enjoy chassis blinkies and different blinkies on a saber, and I do like it when they all act differently from the blade. Seems kind of cheating to me if you just run it in line with a blade, but all right, whatever you like. All right, I'm gonna tin this one. I'll kind of just neatly fold my wires. make sure nothing's going to get bunched up. See, like these two over here, got to kind of watch out for that. Just fold them in there nicely. I like to make my boards a snap fit, so I don't really like using glue, but that's not going to pop up. It's in there pretty tough. Come over and get a battery. Let's throw a battery in this guy.
On directory not found. SD card not found.
I don't have an SD card in it. I just like to do that to see if I'm getting power. So I will have to do a define OLED flip because my OLED's upside down, but that's pretty easy to do.
On directory not found.
Let's go ahead and take this off for now. I'll dial that clamp card in later.
On directory not found.
So when I hit auxiliary, I get this sound.
On directory not found.
When I hit power, I get lights. So I know this guy's good to go, right? I just need to go through and I need to program it. And I always have to end up dialing in this clamp card when I do this kind of setup. You almost never get it right on the first try, so that's not a big deal. But the saber's done. It's all installed. You know, we've been going at it for about an hour and 27 minutes, so we were able to walk through that entire thing. Hopefully that made sense. I know I didn't talk about the board super too much. You know, I didn't know what to say when I was over here at the board, but if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up, Alejandro, or just whoever, and I'll try to help you as best I can. If you message me during the day, it's sometimes hard for me to answer those right away because I'm pretty focused on what I'm doing, but I'll try to get to it as quickly as I can. But I'm going to program this over the weekend, do a demo on it, post it for sale. This is just something I wanted to do because I enjoy doing them, and you know, I just try to like keep my skills sharp and then try to learn new things and just keep going so I don't get rusty. But yeah, that is the Scrapflex, guys. That's how you would install. It's a pretty basic setup. It's still fun though. Thanks for hanging out with me. Hope that made sense, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. And if I don't see you again on a live, have a great 4th of July as well. All right, later.